Why are you Zoe there? You seem kinda busy there.
Oh, hi, Cassie. I didn't notice you there. So, yeah, I'm kind of busy. So, as you know, I'm preparing for my booth for the science fair. So, if you don't mind, could you help me?
Sure, no problems. I'm free anyway.
You know, Cassie, I'm really glad that you are helping me with this science fair setup. As just you know, the theme is all about dimension, unit, and physical quantities, and I'm a bit of your nervous, you know. Well, I'm demonstrating the concept of length. So we got some ruler, measuring tape, and some another tools for measurement.
Cool, so what you're trying to show here in your booth?
Well, I was just thinking about how measurements are everywhere in our daily lives, because measurements are fundamental to so many things we do. Like take for cooking, for instance. When you follow a recipe, precise measure of ingredients like flour and sugar ensure that your dish turn out just right.
It's true, and not just in a cooking. Think about filling up your car's gas tank. You need to know the volume of fuel that your tank can hold to avoid overfilling or running out of gas.
Right? And remember, when I moved to my new boarding house, I had to measure the dimension of room and the room to figure out on how to arrange my furniture property.
Exactly. Length measurement are crucial for so many things, from choosing the right size curtains to making sure your TV fits the entertainment unit. And what about temperature? It affects what we wear, how we plan our day, and even our indoor comfort. Having accurate temperature measurement helps us adapt to our environment.
You're spot on. I use my weather app every morning to check the temperature before deciding what to wear. And speaking of technology, it's amazing how gadgets like digital scale and fitness tracker have made measurement even more convenient.
Oh, definitely! My fitness tracker keeps track of the steps I take, giving me better idea of my activity level throughout the day.
All those measurement should not be effective without standard units like the metric system. It's like universal language that ensure we all on the same page.
Absolutely. Standard units help avoid confuse and ensure accurate communication, whether we're talking about grams of sugar or kilometers to the nearest coffee shop.
True, it's fascinating how measurements are intertwined with our daily routines, guiding our choice and helping us achieve consistency and accuracy in various tasks.
Absolutely. From cooking to decorating, driving to dressing, measurements make our lives more organized and efficient. It's safe to say we couldn't do without them.
Agree, they are like the unsung of heroes of our everyday lives, quietly ensuring that things run smoothly.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Yeah, is it cool, right? I have different tools here since, as you know, I'm trying to show that measurement is part of our daily life. For example, in the mention, they have basic category or types of quantity that can be measured. In classical mechanics, there are typically types, three primary dimensions, which is length, mass, and time. Those are often represented using square brackets as such as L for length and other dimension for like electric currents, temperature, and amount of substance may also be included in more advanced contexts like electromagnetism and thermodynamics. The concept of dimension help us to understand how different physical quantities are related to each other and how they can be combined.
Yeah. Since we're talking about measurements, why does physics need to be measured? I thought physics is only to observe things that we do understand.
Well, that is because we need to understand any phenomenon in physics. We have to perform experiment, and as you know, experiment require measurement and several physical properties. And lastly, experiment needs verification of law and theories, and also needs measurement of physical properties that is way physics needs measurements.
Seems understandable since we're talking about physical quantity. If I correctly remember, we have two types of physical quantities, which are fundamental quantities and derived quantities. Do you remember them, Alex?
Nope, not a single bit. But if you don't mind, could you explain me real quick what are those two?
Sure, no problem. When we say fundamental quantities, it's talk about physical quantities which do not depend on any other physical quantities for their measurements. For example, mass, length, time, and temperature. Now, let's talk about derived quantities, which all about physical quantities. Also, but it's only depend on one or more fundamental quantities for their measurements. For example, area, volume, speed, and force.
So it's somehow connected in units for measurements, which is standard use for the measurement of physical quantity. Like for example, meter, foot, inch, and inch for length, and kilogram for pound for the mass, and minute, seconds, or for time, Fahrenheit, Kelvin for temperature, right?
Yeah, since we bring up this topic, I will also share to you that we also have characteristic of units. Well defined, units must have clear and precise definition, ensure that they are understood universally and constantly. For example, a meter is defined as a distance that light travels in a vacuum in 1/299,792,458 seconds. Suitable size, units should be of the size that is practical and appropriate for the quantities they measure. For instance, the gram is a suitable for unit for measuring the mass of small object, while the kilogram is more suitable for large masses. Reproducible units should be based on phenomena or standard that can be produced reliability. This means that anyone, anywhere in the world should be able to recreate the condition necessary for measuring a unit. The second is defined based the variables of a cesium atomic clock, which can be reproduced in various laboratories. Invariable units should remain constant over time. In other words, they should not change due to external factors. For example, the length of a meter should not change due to temperature variation.
Wow, that's very informative. But I can't let this being happen because I can't be in debate with you, you know. So how about this? Do you know three types of system units, which is CGS system or centimeter gram seconds, MKS system, which is meter kilogram seconds, and FPS system, which is foot pound and seconds. Well, if you don't know, so let me explain. So CGS system is based on centimeter for length, gram for mass, and seconds for time. It's commonly used in physics, especially on electromagnetic calculation, though it's convenient for describing small-scale phenomena. Now, for MKS system, so it's also known as International System of Unit or SI. It's widely used globally, and it has the most common system for scientific and engineering calculation. It's based on a meter for length, kilogram for mass, and seconds for times. And for the FPS system, is primary use in the United States, and it's based on the foot for length, pound for mass, and seconds for time. While it's still used in some engineering application in the US, the MKS or SI system has become more prevalent in many scientific and international contexts. So that's all.
Wow, I wasn't aware we have that kind of system. Thanks for sharing, Alex. Anyway, it made me remember about 7 fundamental units.
Yeah, which is also connected to 7 dimension of world.
Yeah. Anyway, I think I need to go since it is almost time to get ready to your booth. Since I see many people coming into gymnasiums.
Wait, before you go, I want you to show the items I display in my booth.
Alright, show me what you have here.
I have here the list count of instrument. Well, list counts of instrument is smallest value that can be measured by the measuring instrument, which can be also called resolution.
That sounds like expensive. The tools you posted there, huh?
Sure is it. Anyway, I have list count for that measuring instrument, which is ruler scale, which is list count is equal to 1 millimeter, and beaver caliper, which equal to 0.1 millimeter, and screw gauge, which is 0.01 millimeter. And we also, I have here spirometer, which is list count is equal to 0.001 millimeter. Then I also have list count for mass measuring instrument, which is I have weighting scale that is list count equal to 1 kilogram, and electronic balance, which is list count equal for 1 gram. And lastly, I also have here the list count for time measurement instrument, which is waist watch, which has the list count of 1 seconds, and stopwatch, which have the list count for 0.01 seconds. So that's all I have. So I hope you enjoy and amazed to my booth.
Oh yes, your booth is amazing. I think a lot of people will be interested to your booth. Anyway, I need to go. See you around.
Sure. Thank you, and see you around.